Have you ever remembered something without knowing why it mattered? Only that it did? Not with sharpness, but with ache. Like a song you can't hum anymore, only feel in your chest. Finn the fox had that feeling. And so, softly, without even knowing what he was remembering, let's begin. It was stitched into the breeze at the far edge of Stillhollow, where the trees grew thinner and the air felt wider. His paw steps slowed. His tail twitched, not with excitement, but with something quieter, something tugging. He hadn't meant to find it. The bramble bush was unremarkable, just a quiet tangle, except for the edge of parchment caught in its thorns. A corner, a curl, a memory. Finn leaned closer. The paper was yellowed and soft at the creases. Its lines were faint, almost rubbed away, but unmistakably his. Dotted paths, tiny scribbled suns, a waterfall drawn too large. Laughter lived in this map. He had made it long ago with his breath caught. He didn't pull it free right away. The breeze tugged first, gently, as if asking permission. The brambles let go without a sound. Finn spread the map on the moss and smoothed it flat with careful paws. It fluttered faintly at the corners, even in the hush. He traced its familiar loops with one claw, until his paw hovered at the center. A blank. Not torn, not smudged, just unmarked. A hollow, pale space in a forest of scribbles. He stared at it. Somewhere in him, a quiet voice said, "You were supposed to remember this part." The forest said nothing, but its silence deepened. Soft paw steps padded into the hush. Finn didn't look up. Lumen the Lynx stood nearby now. Not close, not far. Just there. His ears flicked once, but he said nothing. The air between them held weight, but not pressure. Finn began to redraw the path, slowly. The old trail curved inward toward the blank space. He didn't know what he was drawing, not exactly. Only that his paw kept moving. Lumen didn't speak. He lowered himself into a seated crouch and began kneading the earth with one large paw. The soil gave gently beneath his pads. It was a grounding gesture, a listening one. Finn's tail flicked twice, then stilled. The two of them sat in that quiet for a long time. It was not uncomfortable, but it asked something. Finn stood. The forest stirred. Not with wind, with shape. Branches above shifted slightly. A path that had been dappled and vague straightened softly. Not by much, just enough to feel seen. Ahead, a new clearing shimmered in the golden light. The ferns were unfamiliar. Finn hesitated. Lumen rose beside him without a word. The map was not a relic now. It was a beginning. They walked side by side into the new path. Their paw steps sounded muffled, not silenced, only softened, as if the ground had wrapped itself in moss to hold their weight gently. Even the birds paused. A breeze curled forward, then slowed, as though uncertain whether to lead or follow. Finn and Lumen said nothing, but something between them had begun to hold shape. At last, the path bent. Just enough. Between two slender trees, the world opened, not wide, but inward. There was no sign, no ruin, no landmark, only space. A hollow that felt remembered. Finn stopped. Lumen did too. The air thickened slightly, warm and bright, like the breath before a word. One leaf turned slowly on its stem, and nothing else moved. Not because it was over, but because this was where they needed to be. Together. The air did not move. Not yet. Finn the fox stood at the edge of the hollow, tail still, breath caught somewhere behind his ribs. Lumen the lynx waited just beside him, quiet, grounded, not leading, not holding back. The forest offered no direction, only presence. They stepped forward together. The moss dipped slightly beneath their paws, as though remembering. A small ring of stones appeared in the curve of the earth, not placed, just uncovered. Finn's eyes lingered there. One stone looked oddly flat, familiar. He padded to it, slowly, settled a paw on top, wobbled it once. A memory flickered, laughter maybe, or just the echo of it. Not sharp, not full, but real enough that his chest ached. He said nothing. A leaf drifted down near Lumen, torn, but in a perfect wing shape. He didn't move to catch it. He just watched it land beside a golden petal caught in a patch of moss. No wind stirred to scatter them. The forest was still listening. Finn looked down at his map. The blank space was still there. He reached for it. One paw hovered, claws just above the parchment. He could draw it now, could name it, mark it, fill in what was missing. His tail gave a single twitch, then stilled. The map fluttered gently. He lowered his paw. Lumen adjusted the green and white handkerchief around his neck, a slow, grounding motion. He didn't speak, but his ears tilted toward Finn, and he kneaded the earth once, twice, softly, waiting. Then, the trees leaned. Not much, just enough, as if listening inward. Above them, the canopy shimmered. Light gathered not in beams, but in delicate threads, silver soft, almost like breath caught in branch light. It was not bright, it was not sudden, it was full bloom, and it came without fanfare, unfolding like a secret that had waited to be noticed. Tiny flecks of glow drifted down like pale stars, vanishing before they touched the ground. Finn sat. Lumen lowered himself beside him. For a long time, there was no sound, only a hush that felt full. Then Lumen spoke, just one line. I think we used to jump between those. His eyes were on the stone ring, but his voice didn't point to it. It was not explanation. It was offering. A thread held out, no knot at the end. Finn's throat tightened, but he nodded and smiled. It was small, but it stayed. He looked at the map once more. Then, very gently, he folded it. Not to hide the blank, not to forget, but to keep it as it was. He slid it back into his green backpack, and the air changed. Not forward, not pulling. But behind them, a breeze began. It curled around their shoulders, brushed the ground, and lifted a single golden petal. It danced upward, hovered briefly above the pack, and then drifted away. They rose. No words, just steps. The hollow behind them held its silence. But it was not empty now. The forest had exhaled, and two small figures walked side by side toward no landmark in particular. The light through the leaves dappled their path, and behind them, the unnamed place waited, unchanged, unlabeled, but softly known. If you enjoyed this story, please consider liking the video and subscribing to Tales of Stillhollow to stay close to the forest's next tale.